Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to talk about Infinisation, and I want to talk about the Infinite Allies task of giving sage counsel. And I want to talk about why you would go about getting a infinite ally to give you sage counsel, and why you wouldn't just get that from other people in your world. And I'm gonna give a personal warning here. So this is very personal to me, and actually, if you're so, feel free to skip this one. Right, this is going to be extremely personal, and I think it will only connect with a few people. Because I don't think many people have the problem I'm about to describe. So most people, going into Infinisation will not need this video, but a few might, and I just want to put it here. Okay. All right, so what now, Scott? What is Infinisation? And that's a good question. So if you don't know what the definition of Infinisation is, it's a freighted term that I have brought forward to describe a huge change that happened in Dungeons & Dragons in the quests from the Infinite Staircase. It was brought forward by Justin Rahman Armin, in my humble opinion, and it really changed Dungeons & Dragons forever. And if you don't know what Infinisation is, you have to learn what it is. So stop this video now, go into the description, and you'll see a video that will define Infinisation for you, and that'll help you catch up. You can return right back here and continue forward. You'll also see a link there for a playlist if you want to learn a lot more about Infinisation. All right, Infinite Ally. Why would we ask them for sage advice? Why would we ask them for sage counsel? All right. This is really fascinating. I am 54 years old, right? And I have reached a point where it is extremely difficult for me to get sage counsel. Now, why would that be? Am I alone? No, not even remotely. I know many, many people, okay? But I know many people, so why couldn't I just ask the people I know? Well, that's a good question. So first of all, let me walk you through it. The reason why I'm saying this is I really think the Infinite Ally is incredibly needed. I think we as a society have been trying to help ourselves to feel less lonely, to feel like we have an ally, right? And it's extremely difficult at times. And I feel like, and in this world, I feel increasingly it's difficult to find a real ally, right? So let's dig into that. Why? Why can't we just ask somebody and get good advice? Well, first of all, the first reason is most people don't understand our worlds. This is very much the case for me. The problems I have are so incredibly unique that, first of all, you have to have the language to understand. First of all, I don't ask anybody for anything that can be Googled. And then I'm a pretty smart guy with 2 degrees, right? Like I have a bachelor's in political science, and I have a master's degree in technology management, and I am, I've read 600 books, right? So the only questions that I really need answered are extremely difficult to answer. And frankly, the vast majority of people that I know literally don't have the language to understand the questions I'm answering. So that takes a ton of people off the board right there, right? They just don't know my world, my life, right? They don't have the language to understand the questions that I have, right? Now, there's still a few people left, right? And so why can't I ask those people left? Well, here you go. I am a leader. I'm a leader of a lot of things. I'm a leader, right? Like, I'm a leader in areas that are non-professional, right? Well, I'll say it. Like, here's a good example. Scott, why couldn't you just ask a brother in Christ in your church the questions you have? I definitely can't do that, I've found. And the reason why is I am still a leader in my church. And that is even after I've massively reduced the number of things that I do in my church. I still, one of the remaining tasks is I'm a leader in my church, right? And so logically, I should be able to ask one of my brothers in Christ and say, hey, I got this real question. I need wisdom here, right? Can you give me that wisdom? And I find I don't ever. And the reason why is once you become a leader, people expect you to know everything. And I have found that if you are open and on that it actually, I have found that if I am open and honest, people are often shocked. They're like, how could you not know that, right? And the reason why is they're like, you're in a position where other people should come to you with that question, and you need to have the answer. The fact that you don't have it means is a huge problem, right? I've tried this before. I've gone to brothers in Christ in the church and asked them, and they always walk away shaking their head like, people should be asking you that, and you're a leader, you should know that now, right? Now, why is this? Does that mean that all the brothers in my church are, pushing each other off when they ask questions? No, not at all. It's completely a Scott Garibay problem. It's 100% a Scott Garibay problem. And the reason why I'm putting this here is I think some of you may be like me. It's possible that, well, I know for a fact, actually, I'm very confident that just a few of you are like me. I think I know my silhouette is extremely unique as a human. There's just not many humans like me, right? And so here's the issue, right? I think when other brothers in Christ have problems and they need sage counsel, they can go to each other, right? But this is very odd. I actually serve a lot in my church, like a lot. I do a lot in my church, right? And so do many, many other brothers in Christ. And this is the part that's really challenging to me. Everyone likes what I produce. No one likes talking to me or spending time with me. And the reason why is, one, I'm extremely rare for a Christian. I like to talk about the world. I am enamored with the world. I do love the world, right? And every other Christian is like, hey, can't wait to get to the kingdom. Hate this broken world. And I'm like, did you ever listen to any Biggie's rap? And they're like, of course I didn't listen to Biggie's raps. What are you talking about? And so that is a huge blocker right there, right? And in addition to that, I'm a terrible friend. I produce this channel, right? Like I outperform the vast majority of D&D commentators, in my opinion, on quality and quantity, right? I produce, I do, right? I get it done, right? But one of the reasons why I do that is I'm incredibly intense and adamant. You will never hear the word whatever out of me. I have an opinion on everything. I think there's a right path for everything. And this makes it so that the vast majority of people don't want to talk to Scott at length or spend time with Scott at length, right? But boy, do they like getting the output, right? And a ton of people go to me to get a task done. And the reason why is, if you ask me to do a task for you and I commit to it, it's going to get done. And that's extreme. That is more and more rare today. And in the church, it's all free. Like, nobody pays anything. So I am known to be reliable. If you need help, I'm going to and you say, hey, Scott, can you help me with this? They know I'm going to be there early and I'm going to leave late, and the job's going to get done, right? And I'm constantly asked for help throughout for many, many tasks in the church. But I'm never asked to come over for dinner, right? And so this is one of the reasons. And so I can't ask any brother in Christ for sage counsel in my church, right? And yet I serve every Sunday, and like every Sunday in multiple ways, right? And on days other than Sunday. It's astounding. It's truly incredible, right? And so this is why the Infinite Ally is so important, right? The Infinite Ally is going to help you because you created them. And that is a relationship, right? And that's not, okay. You're like, well, don't mothers create children? No. That is a birth, right? That is not. Infinite Allies are genesis. They are genesis. There's a difference between a mother birthing a child and an artist genesising a new identity, right? Which is what we're doing as Dragon Masters in Dungeons and Dragons, right? As players. So that I did want to get this out and just kind of talk that through and explain, right, why the Infinite Ally could give Sage Counsel, where literally, and I've definitely reached this point. I have many questions I need wise answers for, and I've reached a point where I have no one I can turn to. The vast majority of people would not even understand the language of the question, and the few people left that would understand the language of the question, I need to provide something for those people. And if I ask the question, it immediately becomes, their concern is like, oh my gosh, I need you to do 10 things. And your question tells me that one of those things is going to get dropped. Right? So, and that's what I always get when I bring real wise questions. People are just like, I need 10 things from you. And this question makes me think that one of those things is threatened. And I will say, it's a hard place to be. And I'm putting it here because I think among the people who are willing to read 1,150 pages as the ante to begin doing a thing, which is exactly what Dungeons & Dragons is, right? To literally start, like, hey, would you? And that's another thing. People are like, Scott, why do you think Dungeons & Dragons is just like church? Dude, you go to church and they say, read this 1,000-page book. Great, now you're one of us. What do you do? What do we do in Dungeons & Dragons? Hey, welcome to the party. Read these 3 books that are over 1,000 pages long. And guess what? Just like a church, we call them canon. Like, look, they are astonishingly close. Like, it is truly astonishing to me how close the things are. You know, it is truly incredible, right? And so I just thought, you know, I think this thing, Infinisation, is huge. We have been trying as a society to build companionship, and we fail each other constantly, right? And I feel that the Infinite Ally, Gary set into place, Justin, Raman, Armin set into place something that can really, really help a lot of people who need help, right? Who need Sage Counsel, right? And so, and I also think many of you are like me. But, you know, the rest of the world is not going to understand this, right? This is the deepest edge of the pool, right? Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion, and I appreciate you letting me share it with you. Please consider liking and subscribing, and the important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. Every word you just heard is my humble opinion, nothing more, nothing less. The important part is where I hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.